Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today? So, I got a chance to see 1922, the new Netflix movie that's based on a Stephen King short story. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is like the fourth or fifth Stephen King adaptation I've seen all year this year. Either way, suffice to say, I'm pretty sure that motherfucker's not going hungry anytime soon. Nor will his great-great-grandchildren. But anyway, this particular story is about a farmer played by Thomas Jane, and he lives with his wife and son in 1920s Nebraska. And Thomas Jane owns a little bit of farmland, but then his wife comes to inherit a whole bunch of other farmland as well. Turns out she's not really into the farmhouse life, and she wants to sell that land and move to the city, somewhere like Omaha. However, father and son don't really want to do that, so one day father talks to son and says, "Hey son, killing mom's an option, isn't it?" And then from then on, the movie's pretty much about the aftermath that happens after they make that decision. And by far, the utmost notable thing about this movie and the highlight of it all is probably Thomas Jane's performance. And I've been a fan of Thomas Jane for quite some time now because the original Punisher holds a very, very special guilty pleasure place in my heart. And this movie is probably the best performance I've ever seen him give in pretty much anything, whether it's TV or movies or whatever. He's conniving, he's subtle when he needs to be, and he's got that thick country accent. In other words, he's just a much, much smarter version of Slingblade. However, his talent kind of overshadowed everybody else because I don't think anybody really measured up to him. The lady who played his wife did a pretty good job, and there's a couple other bit players that also did really well, but I thought his son was just okay. He wasn't really anything special, I thought. However, the most glaring thing about the acting in the movie was that I don't think the sheriff had an accent. I remember for sure the dude gave a good acting performance, but I don't remember him having an accent, and if he did, it was like paper thin. The cinematography was good. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to work with, but there was a lot of great shots of scenery, which was mostly just miles and miles of farmland, but it still looked really good. The music was good about 90% of the time, and then there was a few times where it kind of jumped in your face and was a little bit too apparent, which sometimes that's a good thing because it's trying to set a tone for a particular scene that you can't see visually, which means that you have to rely on some more audio techniques to kind of set the mood for you. But there was one or two instances where I was like, okay, the music could come down a couple notches and it would have been a little bit better. The only other complaint that I have with the movie is that the build-up to the father talking to the son about killing mom was a little bit abrupt. Like, after he brought it up, they made like kind of a lead up to it, but I just thought it could have been a little bit more of a slow burn and it would have been a little bit more realistic. But other than that, I honestly thought the story and just the movie as a whole was pretty good. Because the movie established a very succinct tone, and it was a tone that consisted mostly of just disgust, guilt, but also pride. And the father and son kind of both have the same attitude, like, we did what we did to survive, but that doesn't mean we have to feel good about it. And the movie had this very road to perdition-y kind of vibe. There's many instances in the movie where it's a very like father, like son mentality. And they also illustrate how the son learns from the father due to a decision that he makes later in the movie. And it's kind of reflective of what they do with the mom, because it's like, okay, we're trying to do the right thing and do what's right for us, but we're also willing to do a bad thing in order to make the right thing happen. And there's a lot of meaningful themes that go on throughout the movie. And some people might think this is misleading, but I thought it was fine that the movie wasn't really that scary. This movie is much more a family drama that has horror elements in it. And there was actually a couple of surprising jump scares where I was just kind of like, oh, fuck, that just happened. So I just viewed this as a drama with some scary elements to it. But that didn't make it any less interesting, so it ended up working pretty well. But anyway, guys, overall, I enjoyed this movie for what it was. I had some issues with it, but overall, it was a good watch. So based on everything I said, I'm gonna give it a 7.2 out of 10. Thomas Jane is the main reason why you watch this movie. This movie is all about the Jane. However, I'm probably not gonna be jumping up and down and telling everybody to go see it, but if somebody brings it up, I'm gonna say, oh, that was a decent movie. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie? Have you read the book? Were you excited about it? Hop in the comments. Let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.